Okay, so this is a game already started. We got Alex on Korvold, we got Jin on Rogue Silas, we got Ben on Thrasios and on Kraum. Then we have Kai on Sakashima Tymna. The board state is that Alex Korvold was stolen by Ben. Jin just tried to go off but got stopped, and then it burned Ben's turn right now. He plays a Mox Diamond, discarding exotic ore card, tapping Mox Diamond for Finnish Earth, so he decides to further his mana plans instead of trying to go off, which makes sense considering that he only has one land in play, and this is already a pretty late game already. Then decides to swing with Korvold at Kai with a Korvold trigger on the stack. Then he's deciding what to do on the counter, what to sacrifice for it. And then decides to sacrifice the elves and draws a card from it. And with this, I believe Kai is dead due to commander damage. Ben commands Kai to die. You will die. Or as other people of culture will say, Omae wa mou shinderu. Nani? I wish I had the effects of the ching, but that's the best I can do. Then, oh wait, Alex rushed and tried to vampiric, but Ben's turn is not ended. Then with the Carpet of Flowers decides to make 3 blue to get probe Jin to see what's up in his 2 cards left. It's a demon consultation and a snap or chain. I believe it's a chain of vapor. Then the Ben draws from the JinShootingStar probe and uses probably a few of his blue mana open to try to go off maybe? Considering he has triple blue, 2 colorless and rainbow, which could be red or green. What's his plan? I've honestly never played with Thrasios Kraum, just rock good stuff I guess. Oh, it's a Narset. I probably would have tapped Mana Crypt, just in case, to keep the mana open. Okay, there's Alex in response to the Narset decides to go balls to the wall and just slam Nadnos, giving all the pressure to Ben to have the answers. And I believe the triple blue, paying triple blue for Narset really paid off. But he has a swan song for the Adnos, which gives a bird to Alex. And in the worst case scenario, at least he has a blocker for Korvold, because Korvold right now I believe it's 13-13. That's pretty big. That's pretty slapping. Let me fix a bit on microphone since a bit high, which I'm liking. So let's go to something like there. There seems like oh, that's a lot better actually. So let's see what happens. Then Ben, I believe Ben is resolving a Narset right now and gets a fish with no blue mana open and a Mana Crypt. Maybe he should have tapped the Mana Crypt. End of turn, Alex decides to Vampiric Tutor. There's a high chance he's gonna get Underworld Breach, since it's probably one of the better cards now, considering that Jin has nothing in his hand and Ben, I believe, only has 1 card left. He might be able to go off with this, which I believe since he snapped what he was searching for, there's a very high chance it was an Underworld Breach. Also because his graveyard, I believe it's considerably big, so he might be able to just recast it. Also because he has 5, 6, 8 mana. Wait, that wasn't Underworld Breach. That was... What was that card? Assassin's Trophy? Depends on what he's doing, if he has any ramp to Dark Ridge, or maybe, I don't know what is the rest of his graveyard, since this is already a game I hopped in a bit late as warm-up for my commentary practice. Then Alex decides to finish fetching, gets his card and taps his card for the turn, and draws the card that he... Well, first, Mana Crypt trigger, of course. So he's doubling down on the fetching. Please don't mind this, since it's a kind of like a kitchen table, so we don't really care going back a bit, since he already didn't draw, so it's fine on our side. On a tournament, obviously this is no go. This is not happening. But hey, no worries from us here. We're just learning. Alex still trying to decide on what card he wants from Pumpkin Tutor. Still deciding. Again, one of the better options. I don't know his hand. I believe he only has 2 or 3 cards in hand. I believe, and oh wait, it's 4 cards. Okay. So I believe it will be best to get Breach, but again, that depends on what's on his hand and what's on his graveyard. For the board state, he needs stuff that is not draw, because there's an Narset in play. So anything that says draw, it's a no-go. Maybe he could have gotten, if people play it, Homewards Path, which actually should maybe be played slightly more now that Gilrick is played more, considering all the heavy creatures just deal with Breach, Korvold, and all that stuff. Maybe it's considerable to think of Homewards Path. It's still a very edge and narrow card, since it only really affects Gilded Rake, and I believe that's it, right? Justin, it's only creatures, I believe. Oh, yes, creatures. Then it's not really that good. It's not really considerable. Then I believe he decides on Breach as the card to go. Another, oh, Ewit. Another option would have been to get Dockside. Okay. Ben asks Alex what's on his graveyard. He has 8 cards in his graveyard. He has... Oh, he has Adnos and Breach in his graveyard. That's why he decides not to get Adnos or Breach. It's just impossible. Makes complete sense. Probably another option would have been to get Dockside. But Ewit is a really good plan B, since he can rebuild and probably wait until next turn and live on a prayer that he doesn't die and try to Breach next turn. That's a plan. I don't believe he has any fast mana. He has Imsil and Bam Tutor, which are like especially really bad with Narset in play. It's really bad when you have a Narset in play and you don't have Korvold, so your ways to dig are basically reduced to Necro or Adnos, which are not really good options, considering he's at 23 and there's a, I believe, 13-13 Korvold in play. So if you try to dig with those cards, you're getting slapped back for death. So here's the Mana Crypt roll, and he doesn't get damage. Then discasts Eternal Witness, bringing back Underworld Breach, which is probably the only option he has. I probably would have gotten 4 Adnos, but the problem with Adnos is that... Oh, he even decides instantly to cast Breach. Risky. Okay, so Ben says that he has no interaction, so basically this is an F6 from Ben, and we know that Jin has nothing in his hand. The thing is, Ben is asking what's the line that he tries to play that will make him win. So Ben is saying that Jin might try to use his consultation for Fierce Guardianship, which is an amazing play. I believe he's or Force of Will. It's either or. In this case, it's better to keep a Guardianship, since he's able to at least keep the snap or Chain of Vapor. I believe it was a Chain of Vapor. I didn't see really fast. The image is kind of blurry, so I can't really see well. Even the edge of Silas is kind of weird and funky. So Ben is trying to convince Jin to actually cast a consultation for Fierce, but okay, so Ben decides to reveal his hand with Remora, Blood Moon, and Sick Rift, so he has no interaction for this. Actually, he does have, because if Alex tries to be cheeky with any spell that he cannot recast fast, he can just bounce Breach, and that will basically work as a silence. Depends on what spell Alex decides to go for, obviously because of mana constraints. It might make a big difference. So Jin decides to cast the consultation, exile the top 6, and that's not reveal Fierce Guardianship, and now he keeps going, trying to dig for it. Well, not trying, going for it. I'm assuming that's the card he's looking for to not die. And maybe if Alex has a Veil of Summer on his hand, that would make it interesting. But I do not know what's the line he's going for, that Alex is going for. Really, because I believe I didn't see any fast mana, and they didn't discuss any fast mana about it that will allow him to recast multiple spells this turn. And Jin is blowing up his deck. I believe Jin might be pretty dead. Even though he survives this turn, he'll be dead, considering he has no Wincons left, I believe. What's in his deck? Okay, so Alex does not have a Veil of Summer. And taps 3 for Praetor's Grasp. And Thrasios asks Jin if he has killed the Drake, but it's Rogue Silas. Rogue Silas is speed, it's pulse to the wall, it's go deep or go crazy. So he doesn't play Gilded Drake. All those cards are kind of slowish, like Opposition Agent, Gilded Drake, even Hull Breacher sometimes are cut from Rogue Silas because they prioritize speed and trying to go off turn 1-2 above all else. So I'm not really surprised that Jin is not playing Gilded Drake. It's interesting because this makes Ben keep Alex's Korvold for a long time. Except that I would probably like it if he Chain of Vapor the Korvold to his hand so he doesn't die next turn. That would be pretty good. Actually, there's a Submerge. Oh wait, he doesn't have islands. That's pretty bad. Submerge would have been spicy. So there's a Mana Drain, Force of Will still in Ben's deck, a Fierce Guardianship, some Dorks. I'll probably get Chain of Vapor as a bounce spell. He needs to get Korvold off the board and into his board ASAP. Another option would be to hit Jin, but he doesn't have a library anymore, and Chain of Vapor is in his hand, so there's no point in just shooting Jin for any bounce or something. Alex is trying to get any mana, any good cards, but Ben doesn't have Bloom Tender in his deck. Makes sense, considering it's a triple color deck, and he will need Kraum to actually make Bloom Tender viable, and that's 5 mana. The idea of Bloom Tender is to let you cast Kraum earlier, but it would only give you 2 mana. In a sense, it's kind of like a bad Sol Ring, and you need to cast Thrasios first. I don't believe it's really that good in Ben's death list. Makes sense why he cut it. So here they're still deciding on what to get. Alex is reading Ben's list, trying to go over it, see what's his outs. I believe another option will be to Pyroblast Narset. I mean, it's not the best, but if it works, it works. Still going over the list. They're here just chilling. So, how's your Monday evening going? I'm here commentating some Magic for you guys, just trying to have some fun. Here we see some insight into Jin's house, being a recent dad. Congrats, Jin. Alex decides on getting Jewel Lotus from Ben, and then pass. Weird that he doesn't crack it. So Jin goes to his turn and taps and takes 1 for Mana Crypt. He decides not to pay the 4 mana for it. Smart, considering that it's kind of like the endgame at this point. Oh, it's a snap. It wasn't a Chain of Vapor. Oh. Okay, so Jin is looking at his graveyard to see what he could do. Did he top deck an Underworld Breach? Or maybe a Tutor? He can still win, that's the thing. I don't know what he exiled, but he may be able to still win. So here Jin is smacking, I believe Narset will make the most sense. Oh, he's smacking Ben to recast the artifact from his graveyard. Probably ramp. Yep, Lotus Spell, there we go. I still would have maybe preferred to hit Narset so Ben doesn't get another card. But I don't know, maybe he's planning on something. He had a Snap that got recently clarified that it was Snap, and the card that he top decked, which obviously is not a land. Oh, it is a land. Huh. Then pays 1 and another 1, 2. He casts Roger. And I will probably use this opportunity to bounce the Korvold so they don't die. And I will make Alex at least stay in the game. It depends. Depends on what's going on. Okay, so they're trying to get the whole idea of politicking because Ben is way too ahead considering that he has an engine going with Korvold. I believe he has 4 treasures left from Dockside. I don't know, no. That one I missed. The important one is that Narset, if he gets any wheel, that might be lights out. That might actually be lights out because they had no hand and a full hand versus Narset Korvold. It's a bit too much. Also, lots of mana. So Alex is saying that he needs Korvold to at least stay in the game and reveals that his hand is a land. So he's basically at their mercy, trying to what's the word, to submit to whatever their best actions will be, to let him survive, to their mercy, to stay alive. And Ben continues his turn by tapping Arcane Signet, Mox Diamond, and a land. I believe he might be casting Blood Moon he has in his hand, and that will send Alex to the Shadow Realm. He'll be kind of done. And Jin will be really constrained for mana. Good thing he has a Mox Diamond, a Mox Opal, and a Lotus Petal. That will be pretty good to at least let him stay in the game and casting spells. So here's the deal. Alex is still trying to get his Korvold back and trying to convince Jin to bounce the Korvold. Considering that at this point Ben is their enemy, I will not think it's a bad idea. Well, the other option is to say I'm gonna keep this snap until Ben kills Alex. He can decide on that. It all depends on what Ben is going to do. Okay, so Ben goes to his turn and taps, rolls script and takes 3, goes to 20. At least the usual rules for this group is always take damage, draws for his turn, and so his turn begins with decides not to trigger carpet on the first main phase and instantly nursets. So in response to the Narset, maybe he could bounce the Korvold. Again, I think the play was actually to hit the Narset. Lotus Petal is not really relevant, but a card from then in the top 4 and leaving Narset at 1 so she can be killed by any random creature, even the Ewit or the Gilded Drake that Alex has. It's not shown in the board, but it's there. He got Gilded Drake, the Korvold, so it's somewhere there. They know that Ben doesn't have any counters, so Alex is trying to convince Jin to snap the Korvold. Yeah, so Alex is saying that if he has any wheels or anything, it could be worse. But at this point, they're already pretty bad, in a pretty bad shape. So any game plans to lower Ben's power will be pretty good. So, Alex's argument is that he wants to get Korvold off the board in case Ben reveals a counter from the Narset, which is a very legit fear, considering everything that went on. So any wheel is basically they draw one card. At least they kind of like loot away their hand into a new hand of one card. Alex has a land and Jin only has a snap, so it doesn't make any sense. So here's the deal. So there's an argument to not snap if he reveals a counter, deal with it. But if he doesn't snap, then he still keeps a Korvold, which digs him deeper. It's more of a subjective thing. I do not see what's the point of leaving Korvold on board, considering how big he is and that he makes him dig. Already Ben has a lot of cards in hand. Personally, I will snap the Korvold to get it off the board. And also I would have hit Narset. Lotus Petal is not really relevant, in my opinion. Aside from that, that will make Alex back into the game. And he has only one land in hand. So the chances of him waiting his next turn are really bad, considering he also has to add Nos and reach in his graveyard. It's so chances are that he might top deck something random that's not relevant. Or what are the other chances? He could Sabertooth, Blink, Ewit, if he has Dockside. So the options are that he might top deck something. Okay, so Jin decides to snap the Korvold into Alex's hand, and then the Narset ability resolves. Let's see what Ben shows from this. Let's see what he gets from Narset. He counts his mana, and I believe he has 3 from the Couple of Flowers, or 2. I see at least an island in Jin's board. Maybe that's the second island, the Sunken Hollow. No, I don't believe they use Sunken Hollow. So Ben reveals a Force of Will from Narset. He still has Blood Moon. I forgot what was that too, but I believe he has a Blood Moon, which is huge. That will really set back Alex's turn. He only has 1 color mana, and he will need green as well. So chances are he will need to top deck Mox Diamond to actually recast Korvold, if Ben decides to go for the Blood Moon. I personally will slam Blood Moon and say go. Probably even play Kraum if you haven't yet, or Thrasios to get more value out of it. So Ben decides to make 3 blue in the second main phase. He uses one blue to cast a fish. Then with 2 blue floating, what's he gonna do? He's going to tap a Mana Crypt and a Mox Diamond. Is this Kraum coming? Yes, that's a Kraum coming. Even then, I will probably slam Blood Moon. I will still probably slam Blood Moon. Because if you have a Force Will, you don't care about the mana now. Okay, so he passes the turn with that. Keeping Force of Will mana open. With he had another blue card, I believe, in his hand. There's no way he would have cast Fish without leaving Force of Will open. At least considering how Ben plays. So Alex decides to try to cast Korvold again, knowing there's a Force of Will. So he casts the Lotus, which I believe is kind of a mistake considering he has plenty of mana and that's his only play. So he sacks a Mana Crypt from the Korvold trigger, gets a counter and draws a card, and does not draw a card because of Narset. So Korvold at this point is a 5/5. Why is he swinging? Okay, so he had the bird from the Swan Song and the Gilded Drake. That's kind of like a misrepresentation, but that's fine. He still has the Gilded Drake on his board, but it's not being represented by any token or anything. Unless it's those 2 cards that are tapped. Oh no, those are exiled. So Jin goes to his turn and taps, draws. And what's the plan? Okay. Why are you drawing? Oh, there's no Narset anymore, so he can brainstorm. Very lucky that Alex decided to kill Narset. It's not that she just stops Alex's whole game plan, but at least this makes it viable. I probably would have paid 4 for the fish. So he reorders the top of his deck. He brainstorms and keeps one card in hand, and since he's going to play it, I believe 1 red or blue. I will never. So Alex decides to Mnemonic Betrayal. Ooh, but it's a phantasmal image. What's the target? What's target? Actually, the target would be amazing to be Korvold, because he can sack the Lotus Petal and then swing with Silas, because he has Death Touch, I believe. Actually, that was really interesting. Silas has Death Touch. Oh, that would be actually interesting. That would actually be interesting. If he, instead of this, copied Korvold, because there's no Narset anymore, so he can actually sack something else and draw 2 cards, probably even this to start being pinged, and slap Silas. I actually believe that was a much better play. Wow, that's insane. Okay, so Ben starts with turn with a Mana Crypt trigger, and this takes 3, because he rolled an odds, draws a card, pays for the fish, the reverse order of the last 2 things I said, and he begins his turn by playing. Okay, there's a Carpet of Flowers trigger. He has, so Jin has 3 islands. It's a volcanic island, an island, and underground sea maybe. Okay, Ben plays an exotic ore card, and so he adds 3 green and 2 to cast Seedborn Muse. Oh lord, there's a very high chance Thrasios is on the board this turn, considering this basically infinite value with Seedborn Muse. That's another thing they need to get rid of ASAP. And there we go, so we have a Thrasios on the board. And there are no answers from the boys to Thrasios. After that, Ben decides that enough is enough and untaps. Ben untaps with him. All experiments due to Seedborn. Alex, in his main, plays a fetch, cracks it, and there's a Korvold trigger on the stack. With everything, all of that on the stack, Ben says, hang on a second, I got something. So what's gonna be? Probably Hydroblast? Oh no, he declines to do anything, and Alex continues his turn. He draws off Korvold and didn't fetch. He rushing like always. Alex, come on. So there's a Mystic Grimoire trigger on the stack. Is he going to pay 4? So it's going to be Hull Breacher from Jin, because he says he's responding to a draw. Is it going to be Hull Breacher? That would be interesting. That will make things very good. What's it going to be? Ooh, that's a Nurse Reversal, the Demonic Tutor. There's another Mystic Grimoire trigger, so with this means he's gonna draw 3 cards, because Nurse Reversal reads that it copies. I believe you need to cast it, or just... you made... Oh, no. You just copied. Good. So it's only 2 draw triggers. It's not that bad for the boys. What will it be? I believe this might be a Desperate DT. Oh, so that's pretty good. So Ben decides to Force of Will the Demonic the Tutor, and this will counter the Nurse Reversal as well, since there's no valid target for it on the stack. And then continues Alex's turn. So the game proceeds by Alex trying to politic the game and tries to see if what's the plan, because he says he has a lot of Slaughter Pact in his hand, and there are at least 2 targets he could get, which are Kraum and Seedborn. In this board state, I would believe that Seedborn is the biggest threat, because at least Kraum you can say, I'm gonna play one thing and say go. And considering that Alex has the biggest creature on board, that I don't think Kraum is really a threat. Okay, so and then In response to the Slaughter Pact, Ben taps out for a Second Rift and bounces everything to their other hands. Then Second Rift resolves, Alex and Jin's board go back to their hand, and the Slaughter Pact resolves and kills Kraum. Then Ewit resolves, he recasts Ewit. So he recasts Ewit. I would probably just get Slaughter Pact again and kill Muse, because the Muse engine is gonna be insane now. I really do believe that Seedborn Muse was the bigger threat than Kraum, since he can do it at least once or twice each turn. That's 2 cards per turn. Is too much advantage for Ben's case that cannot be ignored. It's a shame that the Sakashima Tymna deck got kicked out very early, because I really wanted to see that deck in action more. Last time I saw it was a really interesting game that went really long. Okay, so Jin decides to recast a Phantasmal Image, and the target is gonna be Ewit. He copies Ewit, most probably for Breach. What's it gonna be? Or Consultation, that's the other option. Breach. So he casts Breach. He gets Breach to his hand. Remember that he has Rogue in his hand, Roger in his hand. So he gets Breach to his hand. Is he gonna cast it, or is he gonna spam with the rocks he has in his hand of Mox Diamond, Mox Opal, and Lotus Petal? Here's the deal, what's gonna happen? Fish is destroying them. Okay, there's a Breach, and there's a Fish Trigger on the stack. So I believe the only free counter that Ben has is Force of Negation and Fierce Horsemanship, if I see the game extra, but he has all the mana open. There's a very high chance that he will draw counters for this. So Ben is asking how many cards Jin has in his graveyard, and that graveyard is huge. And Ben's digging for counter spells. Scries Eternal Witness and said like, no. Baby, get out of here. Then reveals a Neoform, goes to his hand. Is he going to use the other 4 mana for this? Yeah, wait, that's not 4 mana, that's 3 mana. What's it gonna be? So Breach resolves. Okay, here we go. Okay, so casts Roger. Is Calling the Weak in our future? I believe he discarded it before Kai Windfall like 8 or 9 turns ago. That will give him 4 black. This game became actually interesting now, because he has Lotus Petal. Mox Amber. Nice. Mox Amber. Oh, there we go. And the Mox Diamond. Oh, that's Opal. Yeah, my bad. So it's Mox Amber, Lotus Petal, and Mox Opal. With casting 1 black, he casts high chances Call the Weak. Very high chance Call the Weak. Is Jin gonna get there? Is he gonna get the line? The problem is the fish. Okay. And what's it gonna be? He needs to get the fish off the board right now. Oh, he calls the weak the Phantasmal Image to get it back from his graveyard. That's pretty cool. Oh! So the Phantasmal Image is dead as an additional cost, and then Ben Mental Missteps, they call the weak. And I believe what's gonna happen. Okay, so Jin is removing 3 more cards from graveyard to pay the escape cost for... Oh, and Pyroblast the Remora. Still a bit late. I believe that should have been the second spell he cast this turn. But it's not a bad option. I probably would have started with that. And the fish is dead. Oh. Okay. The fish is dead. And Ben has only 3 cards. There's no more card draw engine for Ben for this. Okay, Jin keeps his turn going, paying the escape for another card. His graveyard is huge, so he has no qualms, just nuking it. What? Exile Snap. And Pyroblast. Pyroblast is not needed anymore. And, okay. Oh, and then Mental Missteps, the Mental Misstep paying 2 life and exiling the escape. That's actually insane, because that will leave him able to recast it multiple times. So, the stack clears, Call the Weak resolves and adds 4 black, then sacks a Lotus Petal for, I believe, it's a blue. And then, what will be? Is it gonna be Demonic Consultation? And, oh, he's... Oh, okay, so he recasts Demonic Consultation, I believe for Oracle? Yes, that's it. Then he gets it for Oracle. I don't know what's still in his library. It's a risky play. It's a risky play. Okay, so considering his graveyard is not really that many wing guns, he's just said that he's gonna try to go for it, which makes sense. That's the problem is his library is not that big, so the top 6 will get nuked. He can Ben points out that Jin doesn't have blue, but he can recast Lotus Petals, which is not really an argument. So he reveals So he doesn't reveal Thassa's Oracle or Jace from the top. That means he can still win. He can actually win this game. That's insane. So he starts revealing, Brain Freeze, nobody cares at this point. Tinted Pact, Thassa's Oracle. Oh my god. That's insane. That's insane. So with this he recasts Petal, exiling 3 cards. No, that's it. He's in F6 mode. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what cards he exiles to the escape. So he casts Petal, cracks it for blue, casts the fish. Cast the fish. Yes. Then with the black. So Jin libraries is 2 cards left. So Ben submerges the Oracle in response, and Jin pacts from the windfall that Kai casted, and Jin wins an insane back and forth game. Wow, that was an insane game. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm really pleased that I managed to get this game going and to record it, even though I hopped in a third of the game going in. Wow, that's insane. Wow.